Hey y'all, Monk Joseph here with the Broken Buddha. Today we're going to cover sitting meditation and everything you need to know about sitting meditation. Okay, so get comfortable. Belt off. Okay, cool. So let's start right here. Okay, so as you're sitting down, one of the first things covered is do you cross right under left, left under right. Left under is going to be geared more towards, classically it's geared more towards men. You're bringing more softer or yin energy in with your left foot in. Women typically should go right leg in. Some variations to this would be Tibetan Buddhists always go left leg in. And Bonpos, an origin religion that was around before the time of Tibetan Buddhism in Tibet, would go right leg in, which is how I do it these days, but it changes, okay, depending on what you're doing. For now, I would say if you don't have enough experience to go into half lotus or lotus, if you are a man, cross your left leg under, or if you are feeling a little bit too aggressive or heavier energy um, as a woman, you can bring the left under. Same thing with the other side. If you're a woman, right under, or if you are feeling like you need more creative fire or you're just feeling real lethargic, you can bring the right leg in. But typically, it's going to be a gender based, and you'd have to talk to a classical Chinese medicine practitioner to really get like the full story because this is all I really know about it. All right, so that's what you're gonna do with your legs. If you're doing half lotus or full lotus, I can only teach the style that I was taught, and I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be kind of awkward with this 4-inch pad here, but again, you're going with if you're doing left leg up first and the other leg under. This is gonna be more your Bompo style. Um, because when you get into Buddhism or Tibetan Buddhism, you're going to do left under and right over. As you're doing this in your half lotus, because we're still just covering legs, you're going to let me move this over because I can see that glare. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. So when you're doing this in this style, what makes this different than the other styles, and I know there's like a lot of debate about this, but it's all about where you are in your path and your existence. You want to pull your heels into your groin for half lotus. Okay, so if you're doing Bompo half lotus, you're going to pull your left heel in, let your heel touch right where your leg meets your groin, and then you're going to pull the right leg over. And I'm sorry, I said Bumpo. This is the Tibetan Buddhist version. Left under is Tibetan Buddhist, right under is Bumpo. All right, or Bun. All right, so this is going to be here, and this heel should also be touching where the thigh meets the groin, and then same thing with the under one. And when you're sitting meditation, a lot of stuff like this, you're cutting off the downward flow into your legs, the oxygen supply, the endothelial function, just everything, and squeezing it all up so that nothing can go down. And that will give you more bioelectric function, oxygen, blood, and everything, so that you can do your organ work, or you can boost the amount of bioelectric function you have for any type of meditation or yoga need. All right. And when you're doing this, if you've never done a full half lotus heel to groin, it can get extremely painful. But you got to remember that first off, you should have your doctor make sure you're capable of doing this, so you know you're healthy enough to not worry about any pain. And two, remember that children have been doing this since the beginning of time. Children and adults getting into it since the beginning of time. You are feeling that pain with a whole lot of other people that experience it. And when I say a lot of pain, hmm, I don't really fancy myself a tough guy, but I know I can take more pain than most people, and I almost want to say excruciating is an understatement, just from having your foot lodged like this for 30 minutes, okay? Now, into prescriptions. And again, if you're doing it the other way around, right under, left over is going to be the Bumpo version. Doesn't matter what side you do, it's going to be pretty painful if you go the whole 30 minutes and you've never done it before, because pulling the fascia on the foot, for some reason, I mean, it's amazing the physiological response you get from it, the medical benefit you'll get from it, but I mean, that pain is freaking brutal, all right? Now, we've covered half lotus, crossing legs, energy going up. Full lotus would look like this. Full lotus is the same everywhere. You go left up. See, I haven't done this in a while. And then you go right up. Oh, yeah. and then you'll hold that. And again, this is the best way to sever off that downward flowing chi to get all the oxygen, blood, and everything going up. All right, I'm gonna untie here now. Woo! Yeah, that one's fun. All right. Um, what am I missing here? Oh yeah, we're on to prescriptions. So the prescriptions I was told, and it's very simple rule of thumb. Um, you should meditate for 20 minutes a day, even if you're just crisscross applesauce, just like this. 20 minutes a day for 2 weeks. If you are incapable of that, it is because you need an hour a day for 2 weeks. And then try to reevaluate yourself and go back to 20 minutes. And what I mean by you need more, I mean, if you have to think about this on just a fundamental cognitive level, if you are incapable of sitting with your legs crossed for 20 minutes a day for 2 weeks, there's something awry there, right? Something's not going well there. I've experienced this, and I can personally attest that yeah, it's times where I'm not taking the best care of myself that I can't sit for 20 minutes, and you might break down or something. All right. So those are your two main prescriptions: 20 minutes for 2 weeks. If that's not enough, and you're still breaking down, then an hour for 2 weeks. Um, Beyond that, you're going to want to go into Sun He Guang Gong's Sa Lung or Surya Namaskara Sun Salutation, if you will. What else are we covering? Okay, so we've covered legs, we've covered prescriptions. Next would be the spine. You typically want the scriptures describe the spine should be upright like a stack of coins. And a lot of times it takes a lot of time to be able to figure out um, exactly where to get that. It'll be uncomfortable. One thing I want to throw out there, you should stretch before you do sitting meditation. If you wake up and sit, it's going to be uncomfortable every time. If you don't stretch, you're going to feel that pressure on your lower back and in your thighs. A good way to get rid of that, you see I have the Zafu on top of my Zabuton, the 4-inch pad. Anything you can do to elevate yourself 4 inches up will help take the pressure off your thighs and back. Eventually, you should be flat on the ground though. But if you're doing sun salutation or stretching beforehand, it shouldn't be much of a problem. Okay, we've covered that. Going up the body, the chest. Tibetan Buddhists typically, it's not a slouching, but you may misconstrue it like that. Anybody who's done enough chakra work or energy work understands the concept that your shoulders have to be forward to get a clear pump up to the crown chakra or the viscera around the brain, whatever you want to look at it as. I don't really care. So yeah, so you're typically going to be more like here with Tibetan Buddhists, and with the Bumpos, you're going to be shoulders back with that spine. Both are spine straight like coins. What to do with your hands. There's a bunch of mudras. Google mudra and whatever you're trying to do, and you'll find a mudra for that thing you're trying to do. Typically, the one I start people with is the classic one. This one goes with Tibetan Buddhist Arbonne. You put your thumbs at the base of your ring fingers, wrap them, and just place them on your knees. This is really good for beginners because when your hands are back, in either one of the other positions, a lot of times you'll feel yourself like rocking back. Like you need that when you're first starting and you don't have the flexibility to kind of counterweight yourself on those. That being said, okay, the Bumpo version, one of the Tibetan versions, is left on right. Again, those thumbs to the points. And they tell you to do this to prevent any negative spirits from getting into your body. I'm not going to comment on that, but I do know that pressing your thumbs here is going to help. This one's going to help cycling energy back to your heart, and this one is going to cycle back to whatever the equivalent to that would be. I'm not that good with the meridian system, so it's health. It's going to help cycle energy. Either way, you're cycling energy. This one's going to lift on top. And again, do whichever one's comfortable to you. You don't got to do one because you're a Bampo or one because you're Tibetan Buddhist. Do it, and if it feels right or feels like it's correcting and imbalanced, then go with that one. So this one will be here, okay? If you ever see me do Sa Lung, I'm like this in Sa Lung. Now, if you're doing the Tibetan Buddhist version, you're going to go right over left and touch your thumbs. This is probably the most common that people know of. And you can decide if you can relax with your elbows out to not pull any bioelectric function, having them so close to your body. But if you need to be comfortable, personally, I like to be tucked and a little more comfortable if I'm sitting for a real long time. All right, so we've covered the 3 mudras, multiple leg positions, prescriptions, chest, body. Your tongue should be on the roof of your mouth. There's right behind your teeth. It's called putting your tongue to the hard palate. Right behind your teeth, there's a little half of sphere, a little half of a fleshy ball. And I want you to press your tongue against that little half of fleshy ball right behind your teeth. Some people say press your tongue to your teeth. The only reason I say press it right to the half ball is because you can feel it in between heartbeats and as the heart beats, you'll notice like a slight charge, like a static electrical charge there, and you can feel it, especially if you have enough bioelectric function. But if you're not feeling it, you can always press your tongue against your teeth or the half fleshy ball, whatever feels good to you, whatever feels right, and you'll feel it. The first time you do a sitting meditation, if you've never ever done one and you're doing it for stress or anxiety purposes, that is very important. You need to have the tongue to the hard palate in your mouth, and you need to sit for no less than 30 minutes. And when I did this particular thing, when I first tapped into my energy issues that I was having with like fascia and stagnation, I was very antsy for that last 30 minutes. Or for the whole 30. I mean, for the last few minutes of the 30 minutes, I was very antsy, and it was like a freaking. It was like a gate opening. You know, I was sitting there, I was doing okay, but when I got to like the last 5 or 10, I mean, I was just everywhere, barely holding any composure. 30 minutes hit. That's where I just heard something. It all just drained out. Stagnation went away. I was able to function a little better. Um, yeah, so we got that covered. What else? There's so much when it comes to sitting meditation. You're like, I didn't know sitting meditation involved all of this. Yeah, it's a ton. Your head should be hooked, which means, you know, you have your head upright, and then you kind of, let me turn sideways for this one. You're not just putting your head down. You're going back and down. This is how you should be hooking the head. Right? And a lot of these things are designed to open gates that get stuck up your spinal cord, or up your back, your governing vessel, whatever you want to call it. And that opens up one of the gates in the back, so you can have a clear flow to the top of your head. I won't get into the other ones right now because it's too style specific. Have I covered everything? If you must look somewhere, the basic rule is to look 6 inches away from the nose. So it'd be like, and at the angle of the nose. So you'd be looking approximately here, right? You can always rest your eyes on something, a candle flame, whatever. Just make sure that when you're doing a specific item, don't try not to look at the thing. Try to look off center, and you know, have your eyes focusing on the candle flame, but don't look directly at it, because you're just not going to be able to engage the things you're trying to engage properly. Because when you're staring at the candle flame and you break it, you're focused on the candle flame, not your mind. When you're focusing on it, like resting your eyes on it but not looking directly at it, you're able to focus on your mind while not focusing on staring. You don't have to be directly on it. So it's a better way to function through your meditation. I think that covers everything. Just going over real quick. It's a lot of information, and yeah, I'm not a huge fan of long videos either, but I really wanted to get this one out because I've been preaching so much meditation, fitness, and stuff, and it's been all kung fu lately. So I just wanted to get this one out. I'm trying to really make sure I'm not forgetting nothing. Yeah, I think I got it all covered. If you have any questions or comments about sitting meditation, um, if you're doing the Jing Gang Ligong or building a lot of chi or going through Iron Palm, you're going to want to sit for 30 minutes, like once every week, once every 2 weeks. Because if not, you'll get too much stagnated chi flow in your brain, and you can actually go crazy, like legitimately crazy. What else? And that's all I can think of. Yeah. So if you have any questions or comments, just leave in the section. If it's conducive to the video, I'll leave it up. If it's not, you know, I'll remove it after our discussion. You get whatever you're looking for. Yeah. And that's everything I have to say about sitting meditation. I hope you enjoy your sitting meditation. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for stopping by. Peace and blessings.